Welcome back to Smith Coating and Design. This week we are making magnetic GoPro mounts. How beautiful the surface finishes are. So the idea behind this is that we will take some of these double mel connectors that I got from Amazon, and we will screw them into the center of our GoPro mount. So that will allow us to connect any of our normal GoPro accessories. And then on the back side, you'll notice we have some circular pockets. Again, look at that beautiful surface finish. And the idea, again, is to take these neodymium magnets and go ahead and insert them. And then what I will do is either super glue them in or epoxy them. And then we'll have some nice magnetic GoPro mounts that I can use inside the Tormach when I'm filming. So this week, again, when we make these, we'll do some drill operations, we'll do some thread milling and some pocketing. We'll start with just an overview of those tool paths, and then I will go through the CAD and CAM. Thank you.
All right, so now we are going to go through a quick overview of all of the CAM. I will provide subsequent tutorials where we go through everything in more detail. But for now, this is just an overview, and then we'll get into the Tormach video where you can see the part being machined. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to perform a facing operation with a 3/8 inch YG1 end mill, 50% step over, just cleaning off the stock that is on top of our GoPro mount. We're then going to use that same end mill to perform a 3D adaptive clearing, where we go through and we remove most of the stock. And then we're going to stick with that same end mill and go ahead and do a contour around the outside of the part just to give us that beautiful surface finish. And so why did we stick with one tool for 3 operations? To limit the number of tool changes that we're going to do. As you notice, Op 1 has many tool changes, and we'll get into that in a second. So after we have done our contour, we're going to do a 2D pocket operation where we use a 1/8 inch Shars 3 flute end mill, and we go in and just clear these pockets on the top of our GoPro mount. We are then going to go through a series of drilling operations. So the first one is a spot drill. So we're going to take a carbide spot drill, do a rapid drill and retract to spot our hole. For the next operation, where we use a go drill, and we're just going to use a deep drilling cycle with retract and just peck our way all the way through the part. And then we're going to use a 3/8 chamfer mill, and we're going to do a rapid drill and retract. So we're going to go straight down, chamfer the outside of the hole, and then we're going to shoot back up and use that same tool to then go ahead and chamfer around the pockets on the top of our mount and the top surface of our mount. And to finish Op 1, we do some thread milling. So we're going to go in all the way to the bottom of our hole. Even though our GoPro adapter doesn't go to the bottom of the hole, we're just going to do that, and we're going to thread it a 1/4 20. We'll then jump over to setup 2, where we flip our part. We have our hat of material. We're going to take that off again with a 3D adaptive clearing using the 3/8 inch YG1 end mill. And then we'll use that same end mill again with 50% step over just to face the top of our part, get a nice surface finish. And then we will use the Shars 1/8 inch end mill again to come in and do these circular pockets. That way we can put our neodymium magnets in the back of our GoPro mount. We'll then go ahead and chamfer all of the pockets and all of the circular holes, and we will finish with another drill and rapid retract using that same 3/8 inch chamfer mill to just give us a nice chamfer around the outside of the hole. So that does it for the overview. Again, we're going to go through some video footage of the Tormach creating the part, and then I will release subsequent tutorials going into details in the CAM. Thanks for tuning in. Alright, so now we're coming in with the YG1 end mill, 3 flutes, 3/8 inch in diameter. We're taking 50% of the diameter of the tool in terms of step over, and we're just going ahead and facing the top of the part. Again, guys, you don't always need to use a superfly or a shell mill or a facing tool to face. You can always use just a standard end mill. And again, this saves me a tool change. Mainly, I'm worried about the number of tool changes in Op 1. As you'll see, there's multiple drilling ops. Even though they go quickly, it takes time for me to use the power draw bar, change the tool, and get ready for the next tool path. Again, here we're going right into the 3D adaptive clearing with that same YG1 end mill, saving ourselves the tool change, running 50 inches per minute with a 30 thousandths optimal load. We're at full depth of cut, which for this part happens to be 400 thousandths. And again, we're just trying to go fast and remove material. The YG1 end mill was performing excellent. I think I could have even pushed it a little faster if I wanted, but I thought this was good enough for now. Here we're using the same YG1 end mill once again without a tool change, walking around, performing the contouring operation, just cleaning up the 10 thou from the sidewalls, leaving us with a beautiful surface finish. Now we're coming in with the Char's 1/8 inch 3 flute end mill, running 35 inches per minute, 50% diameter of the tool in terms of our depth over width of cut, and 30 thousandths depth of cut. Getting confident with this tool, I think I'm even try to run it faster in terms of inches per minute next time. Now we're getting into the drilling operations. The spot drilling goes rather quickly, and then we use the Kinemetal Go drill, and we are just going to use a deep drilling with full retract, and we are just going to peck our way all the way through the part and through the stock that's left over at the bottom. Now we're going to use the 3/8 inch Gorilla Lemur chamfer. We're going to use a drilling operation with full retract, as you saw, to go ahead and chamfer the top of our hole, and then we're going to use that same tool to chamfer around our pockets and around the perimeter of our part. Alright, here we begin the thread milling operation. We're just going to dive right into it. Go to the bottom of our hole, which is 400 thousandths, and start thread milling. I'm using a 1/4 inch thread mill from Online Carbide, which is one of the cheapest thread mills I could find. Now we're getting to Op 2, where we flipped our part. We're going to go ahead and remove the hatted material off the top using that same YG1 end mill, running 50 inches per minute, 30 thousandths optimal load, and around 300 thousandths depth of cut, just to remove the remaining material. Now we're doing the facing operation with the same YG1 end mill, 50 inches per minute, 50% diameter of the tool in terms of our step over, 50 thousandths depth of cut. You will notice the part isn't centered on the vice jaws. That's not ideal. We'd like the part to be in the center for even clamping pressure. Unfortunately, my work stop attaches to the side of the jaws, and that's what I used to indicate my part in for Op 2, so I worked with what I had. Now we jump into the pocketing operation, where we're going in and making the circular pockets for the magnets that will glue into the back of our GoPro mount. We're using the Shar's 1/8 inch 3-flute end mill, running 35 inches per minute, half the diameter of the tool in terms of step over, and 30 thousandths depth of cut. Now we finish off our part with a 2D chamfer tool path. We're just going to chamfer the circular pockets that the magnets go in, as well as the outline of the part, and then we'll use a drill and retract to go ahead and chamfer the outside of the hole. Thanks for tuning in. In the next set of tutorials, we'll go over all the details of the tool pass and how we did the vice setups, how we probed the part, and set up our work coordinate systems for both operations. That way you understand how we begin to machine the part and how we do the part flip and we take off all the material on the backside. So that will be rolling out within the next week. Again, like and subscribe, and thanks for tuning in.